What's up, everybody? Thanks again for stopping through to the channel, Tristan's Chronicles. And man, I appreciate y'all for stopping and checking in on these videos, having these tough discussions and things that people just don't want to talk about. They may have a conversation within themselves and other people, but they may not say it all publicly like that. That's why I'm here, because let's talk about it. And as always, you know how we do. Let's get right to it. Can we be honest? Can we be real? Because we live in a society where people say, well, you can't handle the truth, or you don't want to be real, you don't want to be honest. That's why I'm asking this question. Can we be honest? Can we give the 100% unadulterated truth? Can we be genuine? Can we be honest and 100% upfront? Can we keep it a buck? Can we just be flat out truthful? What do I mean by that? Let's be real, y'all. Let's talk about the things that people ain't saying. Let's talk about the silent stuff. Everybody really know it, but really, a lot of people really ain't saying it. So let's be real. Prayer just doesn't work. I said it. I put it out there. It just doesn't work. See, one of the things that I noticed is, man, we do life with all types of people. I mean, we do life with Christians, probably some Muslims, some Jehovah's Witnesses, some Seventh-day Adventists. We do life with all type of people of all types of faith. And especially like if you're in the United States, since it's so predominantly Christian, Christians love, because I used to be one of them. As a former evangelical, non-denominational, charismatic preacher, I loved to throw in people's faces or to point out prayer and just the power of the prayers that I made to God in Jesus' name. I love to do that. And I noticed that, like, when I'm on a job or when I'm out, people love to say, I'll pray for you. Or people love to talk about how their God answers prayers, specifically Christians. And they boast about how much they pray and the power of those prayers. See, some people get amped and geeked up from the scriptures, from those passages like, the prayers of the righteous availeth much. Or they'll even go 1 Peter 3:12, that the eyes of the Lord are upon the righteous and his ears are open to their prayer. And then I ask, oh, really? Is that really how it is? See, because is this really true? Or is this more bullshit written on the pages that people have latched onto without any demonstrable evidence to show for it? Well, I look at it like this. If prayer really did work, there wouldn't be any more world hunger. People wouldn't be starving each and every day of every minute if those prayers really worked. But thankfully, people have empathy and compassion to help who they can so that many others can have something to eat. That has nothing to do with prayer. That's just humanity acting on its own. If prayer really worked, then the cancer hospitals and every other terminal illness or sickness will be kept at bay. Oh, but Christians love to talk about how there will be no more sickness, no more pain once they get to glory. After life that they don't even know of. So the idea is that their thinking is they got to be sick as hell here, or they'll be sick here, because as they say, God didn't promise no more sickness on this side of life. Well, if that's the case, then why do a lot of Christians quote, by his stripes we're healed? Why do you quote that scripture if God didn't promise to heal all manner of sickness and disease on this side? See, what happened to if there was any sick among you? Call for the elders and let them pray over you. and the prayer of faith shall save the sick. From James 5:14. What happened to that? See, so what happens is we find out real quick that those passages of scriptures is false, and that's not how it works in the real world. It's not. Those scriptures are false advertisement that Christians use to sell things. Because think about it like this. Think about it like this. If the God of the Bible was answering prayers for sickness and disease like they think and like they say, you would put doctors out of business. There wouldn't be no need for hospitals. Hell, you could just walk right into the hospital and pray the illnesses away. If your God was healing sicknesses and diseases like that, but you know good and well that that's not how the stuff works. I don't give a damn what Mark 16 talking about, where it talk about, oh, you can lay hands on the sick and they'll recover. No, buddy. No, that's not how it works. And you know that. You can believe whatever. See, but I'm talking about a whole nother level of realization and living. You know it doesn't work like that. That's why you still have so many sick and so many ill, even in churches, leaders and preachers and pastors and everybody that aren't healed, because it doesn't work like that. See, if prayer really worked, the church leaders wouldn't be asking you for all your money. They would just pray, and all of the needs of the church would be met. Because remember, that's what they tell you to do. When you have a need, they tell you to go pray. And God will supply. They even throw in the kicker passage from Philippians 4:19 that talks about, and my God shall supply all of my needs according to his riches and glory in Christ Jesus. Which is complete bullshit. That is false. They're telling you to go pray while they pray, P-R-E-Y, on you. Because they're manipulating you. They are shaming and guilting you to bring money and to give money to the church. But you got to pray for your needs to be met. Ain't that something? That's what's crazy. But people think just because they believe it and quote it, that it will happen. It's almost like a master class in delusion. It's almost like if I just hope and will a thing, it'll be. Don't work like that. But if prayer really worked, you wouldn't have Christians struggling to make it on a day-to-day basis. And that's the key, because people always talk about that God is going to supply. They always say it. God is going to come through. They always say it. They even go into the text where it says, the wealth of the wicked is laid up for the just. Like, they're pulling all of these scriptures, man. And because they believe it, right? They genuinely believe that these are going to happen and this is what it says. Only to hit the stone brick wall that this is not how it works in real world reality. And that's the biggest issue. You can believe a thing, that doesn't mean the thing is factually true. It's just a belief. So when you start evaluating this stuff and you start looking at how many prayers, how many prayer groups, how many altar calls, how many 24-hour prayer meetings like IHOP have, how many prayer revivals that they have all over the world, not just like one state, all over the world, and yet nothing changes. Ain't that about a bitch? Nothing changes. And I'm not laughing at things not changing. I'm laughing because I used to be in that group of the prayer calls, of the altar, of every Thursday and Wednesday Bible study, and we praying and we interceding. I used to be that guy. You see what I'm saying? So it's not like I'm laughing at things not getting done. I'm laughing at the nonsense one has to program theirself to believe, as opposed to what really happens in life. That's what gets me. Because now I can sit back and be like, damn, this is some bullshit. Honestly. So it's like I laugh at my former self. Like, whoa, man, I was loony out there. I really thought that me praying and interceding on behalf was going to change stuff. And here's the kicker about prayer. If this God of the Bible, paper God, if he's true and real as Christians say it is, and he's all knowing, know everything, he already knows what's going to happen. So what's the use of praying to get something changed when he already know what's going to happen, what's going to be, what's going to come about? You see what I'm saying? Like it just doesn't make sense. And then when you really start to think about it, like, wow, man, I was just really brainwashed and going along with how I was taught, with the church traditions, with the doctrines, with all of that. And that's why I always reflect on my former self when I make these videos. Like, damn, I was a Yahoo. I was out there. Like, just insane. It's insanity when you can step back and look at it like, wow, really out there. If prayer really works, I mean, really, really work as they say it does, the divorce rate among Christians would not be as high as it is. But they always want to say that God instituted marriage. Well, if that's the case, why the hell can't he answer prayers to keep people together? Like, why? If he instituted marriage, why can't he answer prayers to keep these Christian folks together? It's a shame that the people who follow the Bible are the leading ones breaking vows to file for a divorce. Ain't that something? If we're honest, the concept of marriage was around well before the Bible existed and its oral traditions. If prayer really worked humanity, we would be much further along and not stuck, set back because of these God superstitions. And I think about something else. I think about this all the time because you hear it all the time. You could be in a grocery store. Matter of fact, you can be on YouTube comment section and people will say this: I'm praying for you. Your family, I'm praying for you. As to say that they're right, you're wrong, you need help, they got it all together, right? I'm praying for you. Well, if prayer really did work, like you're saying it does, you wouldn't have to tell me you're praying for me all the time. You would just do it, knowing you would see the results that you prayed for. But you know good and well that it don't work like that. So when you say I'm praying for you, it helps you feel better. It's not that the situation changes, and it's not that the God is even listening to answer. It just makes you feel better because it makes you feel like you're doing something when you ain't doing a damn thing about it at all. But time and time again, over and over and over, Christians are the best example. Christians are the best example of unsolved prayers because they have so many damn prayers that their God avoided or just doesn't listen to because he's useless. Flat out. They're the best example because so many of their prayers are going unanswered, unnoticed, uneven paying attention to, nothing, falling on deaf ears. It's just like throwing something up and it's falling right back to the ground. And it's so crazy because when you in it, you think you have this almighty divine connection. Like, Jesus is on the main line. You know, black folk got songs for everything. Jesus on the main line, tell him what you want. Like, come on, call him up and tell him what you want. That was the song. Like, we really think when we're in it, when we're connected to it, when we really sold out and believe it, we really think that that's how it is. Well, oh my gosh, man. Like, no. like, no. It's like snap out of it and wake up and smell the coffee and identify things for how they are. It doesn't work like that. It won't work like that. It haven't worked like that. And that's just not true. See, I think a lot of times we get so caught up I know I did as a preacher. I got so caught up with the stories, especially in the gospel. So caught up with the stories that I began to take the stories for face value and believe them for real world reality. And every time I did that, I was left with the bag because it came up short every time. Just never happened like that. Those are just stories, myth. Those are things that people just read in. Filler, propaganda. Those are just things that they written in the story to make a Jesus character look good. That's it. But when you try to pull those stories into real world reality, here come the biggest disappointment of it all, because you soon realize that it don't work like that. And the God that you thought you were praying to, nobody's there. And you just been talking and praying to yourself the whole time. So when I think about it, that's why now I call the God of the Bible, I call that character the paper God of the Bible. It's just that. It's the God on the pages in a book. But this character isn't a factor in real world human relation reality. And that was one of the most liberating things, especially now with being out of Christianity for years. I can see clearly how it was all fiction. It wasn't what I thought it was. So what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Let me know what you think, and let me know. Let me know if you can be honest. 100%. That's one thing I love about my channel. You can be honest. We can talk about it. But one thing that I've learned, I'm not about to go back and forth with people, right? It's just no point. It's wasted energy and time. It's no point, man. Like, the internet is full of trolls. The internet is full of people who think they right. And I know all about that thinking they right, because I used to think like that. As a Christian, I thought I was right. Only way, no other way. Everybody outside of my way is wrong. And that's why it's like, I don't have time to go back and forth. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I just wanted to be real and honest. At the end of the day, when we evaluate this thing, prayer doesn't work. And I could see many people coming into the comment section talking about, yeah, I had this and I had this happen and I had that happen. And this was my personal experience, or this is my anecdotal experience that can't be demonstrated, can't be proven, or this was my experience. But the issue I have with that, when people, especially Christians, say that, there's different faiths that have the same testimony you have, like Muslims and Hindus, about their God. So all these guys, to the people who believe them, are answering their prayers, right? But my thing is, none of these people in any faith can demonstrate that the prayer that you're saying being answered was your God. How do we know it wasn't Zeus? How do we know it wasn't Thor? How do we know it wasn't Odin? How do we know it wasn't the god Doug? How do we know it wasn't a Cookie Monster? Because you can't demonstrate the very thing that you're saying your God answered. You can't. Because it doesn't work like that. The issue is you just believe it, and then when something happens, you credit it to the God you believe. It's very simple. But all religions who have a faith system and operate like that do the same thing. It's not exclusive to Christianity. All right, but I'm done. I can go on and on and on. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section. Thanks again for stopping by. And as always, take care of yourself. Live your life. Have fun. Do what you want to do. Because you only got one life. Especially the one life that we know. So until next time, peace.